Is that possible to get someone like A.J. Bouye or Patrick Peterson? Would it fit in the salary cap structure? Is it someone – they're older corners. Jason Verrett's a little bit older too. Are you guys interested in any of those two, Peterson or Bouye? Mav.
I have to look at the numbers to be sure, but I know that Patrick Peterson did not have a great year last year. I do know, however, that in 3 of his 4 career games against DK Metcalf, 3 of the games he did pretty well. That last time they played played Seattle, Peterson was torched a couple times, but he had prior success against Metcalf before that. But he's aging. I do like A.J. Bouye a lot, and if he was cheaper, I don't know what the salary would be. I'd be interested, but I think I'd rather go Verrett, who I think will be less expensive, and Mosley, and sign a nickel corner than give the amount of money that would add up to Bouye, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with Mav on that one. I don't, as far as Bouye, I'm not high on that. Just looking at, he had a really good season in 2017, but he's really fallen off since then. Over the last 3 years, he's given up, I think it's around a 94 QB rating when he's targeted, and around 65% pass completions. Not very good on either of those numbers. So that would be a guy that I'd stay away from. Much rather go with Verrett in that direction. As far as Peterson, I think he's a little bit too long in the tooth for somebody that you're going to want to bring in.
I wasn't here for Alex Max, but yes, I will love for him to get signed. Yes, sign him, bring him. So I'll just keep it short and sweet for that. Patrick Peterson, I haven't liked Patrick Peterson for a while, to be honest. Yeah. I think he's been teetering for longer than just last season. Mm-hmm. I think I'd rather take the shot on Bouye because I think his stock is at an all-time low, and why not just take a flyer on him? The fact that the Broncos didn't want to pay him his $13 million says a lot. So just bring him. I think you could bring him in. Nothing too serious. I think he'd be cheaper than Verrett, but then again, I feel like Verrett's market's very tricky. I feel like because these two are now on the market, it kind of makes his value not as high. But then it's also, what do teams view Verrett's 2020 season? Like, yes, he was great, but there's also he is still technically injury prone. He started the season injured. So, I mean, just because he went on that 14-game binger doesn't mean, he's all of a sudden just magically healed. So I think it'd be a tough call. I'd prefer Verrett, but I wouldn't mind Bouye. I think he'd be a solid pickup.
Okay, I'm going to say no on both of them. No on Bouye. No on who's the other guy?
Peterson.
No on Richard Sherman. The only vet that I'm into is Verrett. Bring him back, draft a corner, get younger at the position. Like, look at the Super Bowl champion Bucks. And we're going to talk about what the Niners could learn from them. There's a lot of lessons, but it's a very young defensive backfield. Similar to the Niners' first Super Bowl team. Bunch of rookies in the backfield. You don't need a ton of experience in the defensive backfield. You need a ton of athleticism and speed and talent, and that's what Tampa has. They also have an excellent front seven and Tom Brady. I'm just saying, I like Verrett. He's 30 almost, and he's got a crazy injury history, and if you give him a 3-year, $30 million deal, God help you. I would offer him that, but I also would like some youth in that secondary as well.
You think Verrett or Bouye or Peterson? So the one I saw was Chris Harris last season signed a 2-year, $17 million deal. And that's what I would think Verrett and Peterson would be after. So would you hand Verrett $217
yes.
Or is that too much? Yeah.
I would do it. Yes. Would you guys?
All right. I think I would. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, on the Verrett deal, I'd like to see if they could get him in some kind of a contract where it's really based off of him being available.
I like that.
Because that's his biggest issue. I mean, I'll give you a bunch of money, but you've got to be on the field in order to earn it. Maybe give him a little bit of a higher signing bonus too to kind of offset that a little bit.
Great idea. So like weekly roster bonuses.
Basically something like that. Yes.
If you're active in the active, what is it? 46, 48. I don't know.
Anyway.
Yeah. You can't just give them a bunch of guaranteed money like that. That's too risky.
Good idea. And if some team wants to do that, well, then I don't think the Niners should match. That's your risk. Go take that. Exactly. Let's draft another corner.